Shout out to the creators of the story, Kuru and Whysogurin, for parts 1 and 2 respectively, and our newest video sponsor you can't live without, but should never put in your cereal. Tap Water! In Universe 11, the same universe Bobbity would one day rule over, our heroes faced a different threat in the 3 cyborgs of Dr. Gero. Though beaten in their last encounter, they live to fight another day. The Saiyan Prince, however, takes his defeat poorly. And while Goku still battles the deadly heart virus, Piccolo decides to make the biggest decision of his life. Speaking to his fellow Namek, Kame himself confirms he and Piccolo, or rather his predecessor, used to be a single entity. But of course, Piccolo already knows this well. Without even having to speak it, Kame questions, is this truly necessary? Taken aback, he'd suggest it's not, as even Trunks, who literally traveled back in time to warn these creatures will destroy the world, has given them all the proof they need. And after they almost killed, cutting his sentence short, Kame interjects, Earth's heroes were the ones who started that fight, and the cyborgs consciously chose to spare all of their lives. Questioning his elder if this renders them not a threat in his eyes. That's not the case. But if he's going to make the final decision of his life, he at least wants a good reason. In Universe 18, our universe, Kame had feelings of unease these past 4 years because of the presence of a certain life form. But here, Cell never arrives. Mentioning to Piccolo, merging would leave the Dragon Balls useless, and today, it's not power they need, refusing to fuse back into a single individual. Again, in our universe, Bulma alerted the others over the phone a second time machine was found. However, in this instance, the conversation would go a bit differently. Krillin inquires where she's calling from, having tried to get a hold of Gohan to no avail. But ignoring him, she questions if her son from the future is with him. Handing the call over, she makes the request for him to head back to Gero's lab to recover any computers, hard drives, whatever he can find and bring them to her. But having already tried that in his own time and discovering nothing but rubble. And while the universes may change, Bulma's stubbornness does not. So she asks him to go anyway, pointing out they probably checked years after the fact, but now that only a few hours have passed, it's worth a shot. And sure enough, they discover Gero's hidden basement. Trunks mumbles he'll have to check this place out in his own time too. Stepping up to a sort of incubation chamber, Krillin shouts from behind he's found the schematics to the cyborgs. Confident Bulma will be able to do something with them. With that, Krillin suggests they destroy the tank behind him. Something about it just gives him the creeps. Obliterating the lab and any remaining useful data, hope seems to have found its way back into the Z-Warrior's hands. 3 days would pass. At Kame House, Goku recovers from the heart virus, with aspirations to stand up against the cyborgs. He tells the others he plans to train for the next year. If he can't beat them by then probably nothing else can be done. Roshi points out the obvious and they probably don't have that long. But Goku knows a place where time is generally not a factor. Gathering everyone at Kame's lookout, they would enter the Room of Spirit and Time. No! The God of Earth declining the proposal, denying their entry to the room. Just as with Piccolo, he claims they're all overreacting. First of all, these so-called monster cyborgs have only committed a few petty crimes at worst. Second, the sacred chamber is a very dangerous place and will only ever be used as a last resort. And third, there is no way he would help someone like Vegeta become more powerful. Growling back, the prince is aghast this is his thanks for living here peacefully for the last 4 years, not so much as hurting a fly. But ready to die on this hill, the god barks he would sooner trust his evil counterpart than him, stating, the problem with villains like he is they believe not pillaging and murdering suddenly makes them angels. Trunks butts in, assuring Kame the cyborgs of his time are indeed mass murderers. As of now, they've almost completely wiped out the entire human race. If they aren't stopped here and now, it's only a matter of when they will strike. Understanding where the time traveler comes from, the Guardian simply believes this timeline and his are vastly different. Krillin, agreeing with Kame, admits he too doesn't feel they're all bad, and now that Goku's back, they shouldn't be much of a problem. Scoffing, Piccolo reminds the cyborgs clearly stated their goal is to kill Goku, but ready to risk the world for some. Krillin continues to make his case, arguing at one time Piccolo and Vegeta also vowed to kill Goku. Even Tien, but now they're all friends. We are friends! I will kill Kakarot! I'll terrorize this world! Either way, at an impasse with Kame, the gang would train the old-fashioned way, just out of earshot of the Cyborgs. But having such a short time frame, will Goku be able to find a level above Super Saiyan soon enough? The would-be villains arriving at Kame House. 18 squabbles with her brother, since he just had to travel by vehicle instead of just flying. Goku has probably had long enough to find the perfect hiding place, having searched Mount Paozu as well. 17 admits he too is getting a bit bored at their lack of success. Pointing out to sea, 16 announces Son Goku is roughly 3,400 kilometers in this direction. Questioning how he knows this, the android has detected him training several times now. Then asking the obvious, and if he's so motivated to kill Goku, why didn't he mention this earlier? This goes unanswered as 17 is ready to fight. Instructing his son, Goku explains just making your ki larger isn't going to do it. To go Super Saiyan, Gohan must release his anger. When Krillin spots something in the sky, the Cyborgs have arrived. 17 mockingly shouts out to the hide-and-seek champion of the world, Goku himself, challenging the Saiyan to a fight to the death outright. 18 adding, if anyone tries to interfere, 16 and herself will put them down instantly. But 16 refuses to. Maybe because he's only programmed to kill Goku? The Saiyan agrees, but wants to go to a more deserted place first. Yelling this is a deserted place, as only his house is here. But with Bulma inside, the scientists are quickly alerted to the presence of our villains, working feverishly to finish their latest device. Blocking the blast, Trunks screams for them not to attack his mother. Keeping her word, 18 stops him with ease, piffing these guys really can't help themselves. While doing little to engage in the battle, 17 taunts our hero, asking if he only plans to evade. While in the forest, it seems Vegeta chose to take to solitude for his training, sensing the fluctuating ki. He knows what must be happening. Teleporting behind him, the cyborg confusedly questions how Goku just did that, who, like a fool, reveals he can move instantaneously by locking onto someone's ki, and Krillin was behind him, his aggressor actually taking an interest in this ability. While his sister is less enthused, barking she's past the point of annoyance. Now's our chance! Together! Even their combined efforts only frustrate 18. Calling out to Gohan, Bulma excitedly shouts she's finished the device, and they're saved. Explaining to the boy, this remote will deactivate the cyborgs. All they have to do is use it near him. But overhearing, saving Bulma, the remote is knocked out of her hand. Getting clever and teleporting out of the dog pile, Goku claims the device, but doesn't feel it's all too fair to kill him with the press of a button. Bulma, after being unintentionally bodied by Tien, shouts for him to get close to him and use it already, threatening to blow up the entire planet if they come anywhere near him. The scientist questions if he can use instant transmission to get close, but the Saiyan needs to be able to feel his ki to do so. When Krillin asks where 18 went, jumping into the nearby lake. She uses her energy to cause a flood in the area. Before quipping, she hopes 16 doesn't rust. But more importantly, she destroys the remote, Bulma screaming she didn't intend it to be kicked and drowned. But the ramifications of this quickly swells over the fighters, believing now they're doomed. Vegeta scoffs, as if this plan would have worked anyway. Before 17 scowls they've gone too far now, and he's going to kill them all. But jeering that won't change anything, Bulma had the forethought to send the plans of the remote to scientists all over the world, and it's only a matter of days before they'll build another one that can work from miles away. So, this is the end for the cyborgs. Causing the villain to scream their new mission is to hunt down every scientist on the planet. Trunks stating they've finally shown their true colors, but 16 merely utters, no. Turning to 17, he urges he not be a criminal. Before all of this, he was a decent person. He never killed humans or animals for fun. Arguing, the Z Fighters can kill them at any time though. Krillin chimes in, but they don't want to. If the Cyborgs don't go on some kind of rampage, the Dragon Team won't bother them. And if they ever just want a good fight, he's sure Goku would be willing to accept at any time. Who adds, that sounds great, but if he wants a real challenge, he'll have to give him a bit longer to train. But 18 is convinced they're lying, pleading her brother not listen, as there is no way anyone would just let him go after almost killing him. Chuckling that his own comment just came full circle from Kame's lookout, Krillin chords he thought Jiraiya gave him a bit more information, telling how Goku not only let Piccolo go after their battle, but also Vegeta, and they both threatened to destroy the entire planet. Gohan, backing him up, states there's no reason they can't all live in peace. And doubling down on his hate phallus, Tien chimes, he for one would actually be glad to have their help in case they ever need assistance against Vegeta. As our hero approaches him, admitting it was an awesome fight, asking if they can have a rematch tomorrow. Who is still a bit apprehensive. Goku gives him a slap on the back, giggling he's happy they're all friends now, though 18 warns he not push it. And 16 remarks he will still kill Goku, eventually. And so the Cyborgs would stick around, 17 making the perfect sparring partner for Goku and Vegeta. It wouldn't take long for them to become a part of everyday life. The more time passed, the closer they got. And naturally, the day arrived when Goku would actually surpass his newest training partner. Standing victorious, the Saiyan can't help but laugh at how jealous Vegeta will be when he finds out. Who's busy finding out something else at the moment. Krillin and 18 falling for each other as they would in our realm. The situation here resolved, Trunks decided to head on home. But the Cyborgs of the future still being much stronger than himself, and their hearts too corrupted to ever change. He would easily defeat them with his mother's remote. And devastatingly, as he was about to venture back to see his friends once more, Cell caught him by surprise, killing him. The biological android stealing the time machine for himself, but going a bit further into the past than Trunks planned to. Because so, he created yet another timeline. But that's a story we already know.